been warned about them.
I've been warned about them. You guys call them scatter cushions.
That's right.
We call them throw pillows.
Well, throw it then.
No. But I've been warned about them. I've been told that you sink into this. That's wonderful.
Well, you're comfortable, are you?
Very comfortable.
Right. As I was saying, to very famous parents, and when you think about growing up in Hollywood, I mean, was it difficult growing up alongside all that success?
I don't think so. I had a wonderful childhood. I had what I've tried to deem a very normal childhood in a very abnormal situation. My mom tried very, very hard to keep my sister and I as normal as possible in such a bizarre set of circumstances. It wasn't tough at all. It was wonderful.
But when you think of Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis, I mean, two very talented, very good-looking people, what do you think you've inherited from them?
Physically?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've got my mom's nose, thank God. I love my dad's nose, but I think my mom's nose is a little smaller. Mostly my mom's body, thank goodness. My dad'll hate me for this, if he ever sees this. I think I got a little bit of my dad's, more of a personality trait, more of his eccentricness, and possibly a little more of my mom's rigidness, which I think is a nice combination. I think you need it both in this business.
But I think particularly the guys would say whatever you got from them, it's a pretty good combination.
Oh, that's nice, thank you.
Did they give you a lot of help when you wanted to go into acting?
No, I think that they both wanted me. I think the only way you can do it is if you go out and do it. They gave me support, like my mom hugged me every time I went out the door, you know, on my way to an interview, but not really any big support in the sense of making phone calls or anything. I pretty much did it by myself.
On your own, then?
Hey, you know.
Although you were signed up when you were still at college, and the first television thing you did was Columbo. Was that a big role to start off with?
No, I did. It's so silly. I did, you know the show?
Yes.
Well, you know how wonderful he is. I had a very tiny part, and all my part was, it had nothing to do with the plot of that week's show. All he did is he walked into a restaurant carrying a donut, and I was a waitress. And he walks in, and I'm this real nasty waitress. Now, we've all had our share of nasty waitresses, and I don't blame them most of the time, but she was a real nasty waitress, and she looks at him and says, you know, where'd you get the donut? And he goes, well, you know, I got it there, but, and anyway, he puts it in his pocket. He sits down, and she waits, and she's standing there, and he's waiting and waiting. She finally going, all right, what do you want? And he goes, well, I'll have a donut. And then she comes back later and gives him a really great nasty look. But what was so wonderful, and knock on wood, where's wood? Is this wood?
Oh, anything, that's wood, yeah.
Do you do that here?
Yeah, I usually go here.
Oh.
That's the one, knock on wood.
The Johnny Carson show, it was the first show this season, that Columbo. And he needed a clip for the Johnny Carson show. And so, because it had nothing to do with the plot, he took that clip with him on the Carson show. So I even got a little more out of it. I've been on the Carson show now.
Well, since Donut Days, though, you really have registered as Queen of the Screams. What is it, about 6 or 7 horror movies today?
I did, I think 7.
Yeah, but Halloween is probably what's best known in this country. And why do you think that was all so successful?
Halloween, in particular? I think Halloween was what I call pure terror, in the sense that you took someone, a very sweet young girl, and had this maniac with a knife, and that was it. It was very basic. And what I think people forget nowadays is John Carpenter spent lots and lots of time letting the audience get to know this young girl. They watched her walk down the street, they watched her walk with her friends after school, so that you loved her, so that when the unnatural person comes into the story, you want to protect her. Whereas so many of the films after Halloween, I think didn't introduce you to the characters. They just sort of like cut them to shreds from the get-go, and you didn't care about them, and it's real important to care.
But the audience tended to get involved, didn't they?
Oh, but what happened was John Carpenter actually said to me, I want the audience to talk to you. And I said, sure, John. Sure, you got it. And he said, no, I mean it. I want them to talk out loud. I want you to be vulnerable enough. And I want you to take them into your life so that they will want to protect you. I said, yeah, sure. But I went and saw the movie on opening night at the Pix Theater in Hollywood with about 8 people, because the movie was made for very little money and there was no advertising money. And I'm watching the movie, and there's this one point in the movie where I walk out of this house over to another house, and the audience all knows that there have been a bunch of people killed there and that the guy is waiting over there. And I'm walking across the street, and the camera cuts to me, to the house, to me, and I'm kind of walking over there looking real quizzically. And this lady stood up in the back of the theater, and she went, "Laurie, don't go over there! Don't go! He's in there! He's in there! I know he's..." And it was wonderful. And every time I've ever seen the movie, people always stand up and actually talk to her because they liked her. Whereas in the other films that I've seen, some that I was in, they didn't care about the people. So, you know, I'll go on, go get it. Doesn't matter, but it was wonderful.
We love your screams, though. The pitch is absolutely terrific. How do you psych yourself up for the various levels of screaming?
Well, it's not really the various levels of screaming. It's more, when you're shooting a very low-budget movie, you shoot out of context, and you shoot out of continuity. So you might be shooting the first scene last scene first. So in order to keep my sort of sense of hysteria, I numbered my script from 1 to 10, you know, on where I would be. So whatever scene number they threw at me, I would just go, oh, that's about an 8. You know, 1 is, you know, you're sitting in school and you look out the window and you go, there's a guy out there. And then 2 is, you look out and he's out there again. It's sort of like, You know, and 4 is you're walking down the street and you kind of go, you know, and then it builds up and builds up so that 10 is...
Pretty fierce, eh?
It can get loud.
Can you give a demonstration?
Oh, I don't want to give a...
Oh, you
No, you
could.
don't. No, I really can't. No. But if you see Halloween, the last scene is a 10. Ah! She did
Pretty
it.
good,
See?
eh?
Hey, I think we should give her a hand. You know they're casting Halloween 4.
My producer wanted to scream, so if you're not going to give it,
You
I
can
had
do
to give
well,
it in the
thank
end.
you
That's
for
the
saving
point.
me.
When we come to your latest film, Trading Places. Now, that's a different kind of role
It's
for you.
such
A
a
very
wonderful
sweet girl on the game. Did you do any research into that role? Figuratively speaking.
Yes. Somebody called her today a tart with a heart.
A tart with a
A journalist. I thought that was the sweetest thing. Actually, no, I didn't do much research. My boyfriend wouldn't let me, and anyway. Actually, because we made her up, she's a film character. She's not really a street prostitute because she earns quite a lot of money, but she's also not a call girl. So because she's sort of convoluted, we just sort of made her up, and the director, John Landis, sort of said, just make her up in your mind. She's really just a movie character.
So having established you didn't make any extra money, I mean, you did have difficulty, though, with your accent, didn't you? With your German accent.
I knew you were going to bring this up. It's so embarrassing. There's a scene in the movie where we're all on a train, and we're in disguise, and they had her written as being a little German girl. Well, I do a really rotten German accent, and I've never been able to do one. And I kept telling the director, John, I really do a bad German accent. Please let me do a Swedish accent, because at least I know how to do that, and it's sort of cute. And he said, no, you have to be German, and then we've already built the lederhosen and everything. And I said, but John, I don't do a good German accent. And so anyway, the night before we shot the scene, he called me up at the hotel, and he said, I tell you what, play it Swedish, but wear the German the German outfit, and I'll just have Denham Elliott, like, play with you a little. It's a very funny movie.
It's a very good movie.
Oh,
I strongly recommend that.
It's wonderful.
Listen, I can't let you away without asking you about a lot of the publicity that's been in our papers recently about Adamant. Now, I mean, we want a little bit of gossip this afternoon. True or false?
What is what true?
Well, I mean, is the relationship true?
I don't know. I guess so. I'm so...
What attracted you to him? Was it his music?
I was a big fan of his music, yes, before I met him. I love his music. It's wonderful.
So this could be the start of something really big, could it?
I'm not saying.
She's not screaming and she's not saying, but Jamie Lee Curtis, thank you very much indeed.
But I'm publicizing my movie.